So you want to have an open relationship? Really? Really? Everyone wants to be open and free, expressing your total self, spreading your love and light to anyone who makes your breath catch or your heart skip a beat. That takes so much fucking energy. Not only are you going to have a primary relationship, you know, that's the name for it. In the language of polyamory, your partner, the one you've agreed to share your path with, they are your primary. Sounds sexy, doesn't it? Primary. Woo, hot. And everyone else, all those lovers you're going to have in your vast openness, they're secondary. Oh, man, people cannot wait to be secondary. How about you? You want to get down with some secondary loving? Oh, wait, no, you're not free tonight or tomorrow or the rest of the week because your primary relationship needs you. Well, they're primary, so your secondary will just have to deal. I mean, people understand sharing, right? It's something humans are so good at. No one's going to feel slighted when there's not enough of you to go around. Next Thursday, 2 to 5 will work. Because being open isn't cheating, it's planned. And everyone knows how planning increases desire. It's not getting away with something sexy. It's not doing something bad that no one will ever know about sexy. It's consensually agreed to with honesty sexy. Oh yeah, it's getting hot just thinking about it. You too? You still want to be open? Okay. So what are you agreeing to as you consciously enter into this beautiful openness? You are agreeing to allow your partner to speak to someone else in sweet, soft tones. They will look into someone else's eyes and see the fire of humanity that draws us all in deeper. They will be vulnerable with someone else. They will make someone else laugh to the point of tears while naked. They will have in-jokes with someone else. They will inspire someone else's life. They will make new friends through their secondaries, and those people will never know you. They may not even know you exist, until you meet them at a party and see a shade pass over their face as they realize exactly who you are. They will point out great bars in Malibu that you've never been to. They will call and say they've been invited down to Long Beach for the night, so they won't be home for dinner and they'll talk to you in the morning. You are agreeing to stand next to your primary and not share in all of their life. Your partner will have a side of themselves that is theirs, and theirs alone. What are you getting? You get to date again. Goody! You get to be terrified of rejection because you haven't been smooth or charming in years. You get to try and try again to find someone who doesn't immediately turn white as a sheet as you say, well, I'm in a committed relationship, but we're open, we're honest, I'm not looking for to be your partner, just have a little fun. You get to make small talk as you wait for someone to make the first move. Ooh, and you get to hold in your gas and pretend you don't ever have to use the bathroom. You get to try to figure out how to say, that was great. You're great, and I don't ever want to do that or see you again. You get to try the walk of shame. Oh yeah, remember how awesome that walk is? But now, as you walk, you get to think about how you're going to be honest with your primary. And maybe you should have called first and given them a heads up that you're going to be out dogging some tail. You get to tell your primary as much about your most recent escapades as you can see on their face that they can take. Because honesty is so easy, especially when it's agreed to. Oh yeah. You come in, toss your hat and jacket on the coat rack, and as you're buttoning up your house sweater and putting on your comfy slippers, you regale your primary with your adventures, because they really want to hear all the details. And let me tell you, your secondaries are going to be so excited to hear that you're sharing your intimacies with your primary. They're going to be so that's going to go really great too. You get the amazing ability to break someone's heart because no matter how much they love and or desire you, they will never be your primary. Or even better, a secondary moves on to a close relationship, and you find yourself in a deep, loving primary relationship and heartbroken at the same time. Oh my God, that sounds amazing! Why on earth would you want to be open in your relationship? There's a point where open seems deceptively easy. Seems like it would be so much more exciting than the same old close relationship you've been devoted to. Oh yeah, because that new person you're picking up, they're definitely sane and don't need you to fix them or fill a hole in their lives. They're definitely not going to want anything from you but sex. They don't want you to care about them. Nope, it's easy. And oh man, your friends will love to hear about your open relationship, especially your single friends. They love to hear about how you scored last night at the bar and then went home and had sex with your primary too. They will adore being your wingman and be totally cool with taking a cab home because you can't can't drive home until after you've had hot sex in the back seat of your car in the parking lot. And the friends who are in close partnerships won't feel at all nervous when you're around their partners. Everyone trusts you and thinks you're so cool. Everyone's going to want to be like you. You know that what everyone who's not in a relationship is looking for is a closed relationship. It is the holy grail of our personal lives, what we know to be fulfilling. We dream of having the chance to come as close as possible to not being entirely alone in this life. We want to hang out at the no vacancy sign, draw the curtains, and put on our goofiest faces, get dirtier than we've ever allowed ourselves, and be rocked with the deep love that comes with devotion and trust. We exchange rings when we partner. We close the circle. That's when the good stuff begins. Some say open is vast, expansive, full of endless possibilities, but it has no safety. Nothing to grab onto in this free fall of a life. Being closed allows for space within walls of love, understanding, and deep desire. Space to show your true self to yourself and your partner. What do you get? What are you saying yes to? You get to close the door on uncertainty, aloneness. We are safe, closed, cerrado. Sounds sexy in any language. You say yes to just you and me. Not primary, only. There are times in life to have your arms wide open, but relationship thrives when you wrap yourself around it and bring it in, close that circle, and be amazed.
When I was a teenager, I heard once that after he became a movie star, Kirk Douglas would send out monthly checks to people who made a mark on his life. An elementary school teacher, his first boss, and so on. One of those individuals was the woman to whom he had lost his virginity. It sounded weird to me, like prostitution after the fact, but that was before I started having sex. When I lost my virginity, I understood what a profound effect someone's openness can have. An openness that makes you want to thank that person every day of your life. Kathleen Struban was the first girl I ever loved. I was 17, I was a senior in high school. I had been dating this other girl for a year or so, and she was that person that you learn about bodies with, you know? I hope we all have that person in our young lives, that person who you go home with every day after school, you go to their room, and you do everything you possibly can without actually having sex. And you learn. You learn where things are. You learn when gentle is good and when not gentle is really good. And you learn how to be comfortable being physically close to someone, like on top of them. You don't learn everything, of course, but you learn how to learn these sorts of things about people. It's pretty great. Anyway, she and I broke up. Her family was Lutheran. It was a house of cards. Shortly thereafter, I met Kate, Kathleen Loretta Struban. But she was Katie. She was a friend of a good friend of mine, a girl. The friend and I, we would drink coffee and wear vintage clothes, steal cutlery from hotel lobbies, that sort of thing. Her friend, Kate, was a year younger, freckly-faced, wavy-haired, hippy-dippy, the perfect Eugene, Oregon kind of young lady. Her parents were rich, a professor, a doctor. They started drinking at 5 p.m. every day. She was a rebel, a wild thing, going against the grain, a free spirit. I saw her, I heard her voice, and I was in love. That gut-wrenching, googly-eyed thing that you hear about, read about, and then it finally hits you, love. So we started going out, doing things together. We'd have dinner with her parents, grope each other in her Subaru station wagon, the windows steaming over, walk in the rain, make out as the rain rolled down our faces. And I loved her. I loved her so much. She didn't love me. She really liked me, but as I look back at it, I don't think she loved me. She thought I was cool, she thought I was handsome and sexy, and she was attracted to me. Maybe she did love me. It didn't matter to me. I was having a great time. I was still a virgin. She was not. She had sex with a couple of guys a couple of times. She was a free spirit. She enjoyed her body, and she enjoyed sharing her body. And she shared it with me. And it was amazing being with someone new after learning all about bodies with the other girl. And then you learn more. That stuff is different on different people, and that different people like different things, and how that's amazing and wonderful. And then it got to that point where she wanted to have sex with me. We were going to have sex. I was going to lose my virginity. The circumstances were perfect. Her parents were out of town for the weekend. We had the house to ourselves. I'd been spending most weekends at my friend's house, my buddies who graduated the year before, so I could just tell my mom I was there and she wouldn't care. I was set. Friday night, March 6th, 1992. We go to a party at a friend's house, down in the den, parents upstairs, we're sneaking out in groups of 4 or 5 to the wooded backyard to smoke pot. Around 10, she slides up to me and she says she wants to go. Let's go home. She coos in my ear, pressing her body into my side as she squeezes my hand, rubs it against her thigh. We are driving back to her house and we are high. She's touching my legs, I'm caressing the nape of her neck, the wisps of hair, what's not caught in her ponytail, tickling my wrist. She shifts gears as we head up the hill at the edge of town, and she leans over and whispers hotly in my ear that she loves driving up this hill stoned. I nearly came in my pants right then. We get to her house, we go up to her room, we start kissing and feeling, we start undressing each other. I put on a mixtape, and she laid down. Heroin by the Velvet Underground from the Doors soundtrack. I'm a really cool 17-year-old, and I go down on her. The song is 7 minutes and 8 seconds long, and at that time of my life, 7 minutes and 8 seconds of straight cunnilingus is a long time to be down on something. The song finishes, guitars wailing, Lou Reed moaning, her panting. I pick up my head and meet her eyes as she looks down and says, "That was amazing." Her freckly cheeks all flushed. She takes me by the chin and lifts my face to hers and kisses me and grabs my shoulders and pulls me on top of her, and I know that this is it. It's going to happen. I get a condom, I put it on my teenage erection, and I climb back on top of her. She lays back, opens her legs, and waits for me to do my thing. I try to put it in. I move it around and I press a little and I look at her and she looks away and I try again, but then I'm starting to lose my heart on because I'm getting nervous and it's not happening and the condom is weird and she's looking away and I sort of match my crotch into hers hoping that will work and I'm grinding a little and I'm still not inside of her and I know it and she knows it and it's really awkward and it's not happening. I'm not losing my virginity. I'm not having sex. We go back to making out and we wind down and fall asleep. I wake up the next morning, she's already out of bed, downstairs, kitchen, making coffee ready. We play a little house and later she drives me back to a friend's house. I put the whole thing out of my mind. A few days later she breaks up with me. I'm destroyed, I'm heartbroken. We went our separate ways, though I would haunt and stalk her ever so for a while. I have a picture I took of her after we broke up. The look on her face says it all. She is over it and just wishes I would leave her alone. But I wanted to wallow in my poetic heartbreak and she was kind enough to endure it. And then I graduated and went to college. And I met a girl, Kathleen Margaret Dugan, Kate. She wears glasses and she's from Pittsburgh. Her lip curls up in the cutest way when she smiles and she lives in the same dorm as me, 1 flight up and 3 rooms over. We start going out. She's a little older than me, definitely more experienced. We spend hot and sweaty nights and days learning about each other's bodies, learning how to be together, and then that night comes when it's gonna happen. I'm gonna have sex, I'm gonna lose my virginity. And I've been here before and I'm trying to be cool about it and just stay calm. And we're in my room, and we're on the floor, on top of the comforter, and we're touching and tasting and caressing and stroking. And I go to put a condom on, and then she pulls me on top of her, and I'm holding my erection, and I'm about to try and put it inside of her, and she put her hand on my shoulder, looks me right in the eye and says, "Hey, I'm having a great time. I'm where I want to be right now. You don't have to impress me or anything like that. There's nothing to be worried about. Just do your thing and have a good time. Don't be worried. You're great." And I realized in that instant that that's what I needed from that other Katie all those months ago. I just needed someone to be open to the idea of my first time. And then I stared into her eyes, and I watched her expression change as I slipped inside of her. And she stared into my eyes and held me there as I felt what it was like to be inside of someone for the first time in my life. And it was incredible. And it lasted all of 30 seconds, but it was incredible nonetheless. And then we did it again, and it was better, and we giggled a bit about it, and then we did it again and started mixing things up. And then I was in a sexual relationship. And we loved each other, but it wasn't desperate. It was easy and fun, and we went out to bars, and we got drunk together, and we smoked cigarettes in bed together, and we had sex. We had lots and lots of sex. We broke up eventually. I was interested in seeing someone else. It wasn't amicable at the time, but it turned out that way. She's a kid now, she teaches hot yoga. I saw her a few years ago, she was in town, and we went out for a drink. We talked and drank, catching up and remembering college days. I still had a strong impulse to make out with her. Her lips still curled up in that really cute way. She was my first, and always would be. She would always be the one who was open to me when I needed it most. I understood why Kirk Douglas sent that monthly check to that woman. It wasn't creepy or weird at all. It was a sweet thing to do to remember such a kindness. I hope Katie knows that I feel the same way.